Yeah, I mean, overall, in Stage 3, we haven't seen too much of it. You know, we've seen it 3 times. Interestingly, Hap, I was having a look at the stats for it. 60% attacker win rate so far on Oregon. And I know it's only a small sample. We've only played it 3 times. But it's certainly not going to be easy for Team Secret to start off against Virtus.pro here. And just to remind everybody of the stakes that we've got in this game, Virtus.pro can still keep themselves fighting for the major. A 3-point win here is essential for them. That's the top and bottom of it. If this one goes to overtime, Virtus.pro don't get to the major. They need to get themselves onto a final standing of 14 points, which, depending how the other games go, they've got to rely on other results. They would need Vitality to lose completely, not go into overtime, and they would need Kavana to get 1 point so that it ties them all up on 14. They don't want to just tie up with Vitality, Hap, because of course they lose the head-to-head there.
Yeah, there's even a potential, I believe, for a 3-way or a 4-way tiebreaker to occur at the end of it.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, none of those work in favor of Virtus.pro, if I'm correct. So they need to make sure that they get that full-on win here and have the other results go their way. But as the bans have been concluded, that's a Vamai and a Jaeger both removed off the board. And that means, Tim, that we might see a bunch of explosives to be entering the stage here.
I'd certainly expect to see plenty of nades being brought along. Virtus.pro starting off here on the attack. They're going to get things going. I can already see Iana, Finka, Maverick. So we've got a minimum of 6 nades there I would expect being brought along. We've also got the utility from Zofia as well. So there's going to be absolutely no comfort inside of sight for Secret. That's the fact. And I mean, Secret, as we know, they've not really got too much to play for at this point in time. They're locked in terms of the 2021 season as a whole. They will be in that second relegation spot, the one where they get a chance to fight against the second placed overall Challenger League team. So Secret, they know what their fate is, but they can't throw away the chance to play against top teams either, Hap. You know, this for Team Secret is about sharpening up, surely.
Yeah, for sure. It's also a bit of a final test right before that relegation matchup they will play somewhere in December. And as you just said, they won't even be swapping inside of Stage 3 anymore. They lost the head-to-head over Na'Vi. They're currently 3 points behind them. Only Heroic has an opportunity of overtaking them. But there's also no SI points at play for both these teams. In that case, and also neither of these teams will be making it to the 6th Invitational. So Secret, really nothing to lose playing their very final game before they head towards the relegation tournament. Whereas VP, well, they have it all to play for, and that's the pressure that will be upon them, and that is something they will have to learn to deal with.
We've got an interesting setup coming in, Hap. Certainly different than the norm that we usually see. We've got Slebin up on the top floor with the cap cam, traps all over the map. We've got castle barricades applied out in small tower. So we have got what I'm going to have to call an absolute full map hold coming in from Team Secret. I'm not sure about the placement of that Valkyrie cam there. I would imagine that's going to get picked up pretty easily, but it might just provide the information that's needed for Packbull to peek. That's the interesting bit. He's got the feed onto the main door. Even if they come and shoot that cam out, he knows there's somebody there. He can make that challenge. It's more about that feed of information. Now, Milon has moved his way past along with Kajeka past that small tower, so that's pretty much done. But I'm just wondering where Kendrew went. We saw him around there when he was on the castle. I don't know if he's in a position to potentially flank. No, he's moved himself back towards site, so not sure on the attempt to keep them out of small tower.
Now Slabadane saw him rotate from the attic towards the big tower. It's Rask, however, that will be able to pick him up, and that is the very first kill to go into favor of Virtus.pro. Secret, who had a full map extension, have now all fallen back towards the site and have effectively just wasted a minute. Virtus.pro, well aware, will now have the opportunity to start opening up on these hatches and put some pressure down onto Secret. They already have the man advantage here, so keep that in mind. That will be helping them if they are going for a take later on in that round, because there is still a bit of preparation to do for VP as Milan decides to start droning out that freezer. That might be one of the 2 points they tried to contest from.
Milan, as you say, racing himself down Freezer stairs, got himself nice and established now. Pasha's going to be pushing the laundry, and this is what we like to see from the attack on this basement, getting those multiple angles of ingress worked out. You got to be coming in from multiple directions, otherwise you just feed yourself into the defenders' waiting guns. How about that? The Capcan trap from Sleben coming in clutch. We don't always expect it at this sort of level, but it certainly gets the job done. Gomfi finds one onto Milan, and all of a sudden we have a quick swing around for Team Secret here. They go from a 4 versus 5 to a 4 versus 3. Nades ringing in, so do the bullets. We have kills going in either direction, and somehow Team Secret managed to come out still on top of things here. Kozheka, he's trying to work his way down from that electrical hatch, but he's meeting stiff resistance at the minute. He does take a drop, but it's all going to be over surely as he steps in. Kendrew, Keenan, they come down and take the kills, and they're going to close it out for Team Secret, who take round 1 with a unorthodox defense, but it certainly got the job done.
Get the job done in the end there, indeed. The Capcan trap picking up the very first kill just to ease the mood just a little bit there, and that suddenly turns it into a 4-on-4 as well. Bit of panic maybe on the side of VP when you lose a key member to that push, having to drop in afterwards. Didn't really go according to plan. They won some of the gunfights, but not all of them, and that means that Secret now leading 0-1. Top floor we go next. Up to the kids in the dorm's main hall. See if this is going to have another, unorthodox site or setup, because that is what we just saw. That complete map hold, a roamer in every single corner you can find, all falling back towards, the multiple different staircases, really, that you can get back to the site to. It's going to be a bit more difficult here because you're playing on that top floor. VP doesn't have to clear out the basement first to go all the way to the top. Very often, even teams just completely negate the floors down below. That is not something you can do when you're on the bottom floor. You need to get those 2 floors above because those can really wreak havoc upon you. And that means that normally there's a lot more time in the hands of a attacking team right here because they can just directly hit the side instead.
That's it. They've got a little bit less to concern themselves with. Of course, there's still the potential for a little bit of vertical action. We've got a couple of nitros on side. We've got 3, in fact, coming with Mozzie, Valkyrie, and Mirror. So something that Virtus.pro do need to be aware of. But like you say, once you've got your drones in there, once you find those operators, especially if you know they're on side, it's pretty much job done, and you can start pushing. Or you can play into alternative areas. You can play into double window where there isn't a huge nitro threat because, of course, you stood on top of concrete. It's not breachable. So until you get inside of the map, at least, you can play your angles and see if you can pick up a couple of kills, potentially force any roamers back to site just by sheer attrition of the on-site players. Now then, we're going to have Virtus.pro approaching pretty quickly once again. They did this last time, got themselves inside of the map. I commented it was Milan and Kozheka last time around. This time, Milan, once again, is going to be pushing that wall quickly. We've got Pasha in already. 40 seconds in happen. He's getting that attic wall open.
And the attic wall will be opened up, but that's exactly what I'm saying, you know? Like, they can directly start hitting this site. They do not need to deal with Sleben, for example. That is inside the dining. Gomfi, of course, could be a problem due to the fact that he has that nitrous... Well, actually, he doesn't have it anymore. I believe it's pre-placed. But that means that, you know, those might be small issues, just nitros from below. But if you are quick enough and you manage to overrun them on the site, you do not really need to put the most of the... Oh, that's one from below! That's going to be Sleben that just punches the window and manages to get the first kill to Milan. He was still with a grenade in his hand, managed to at least release it before, but not much damage done to Keenan, who tried to get with it, of course.
Sleben there just proving that whilst you can play around those roamers, you've always got to be aware of where they are because it can be a major problem. Packle coming in with an interesting strategy there. He's going to deploy the mirror window as the Hibana breaches the wall. So effectively, the Hibana has just created a peek hole for the mirror there, but he's likely to find himself coming under some pressure now as Karzeka reigns in the nade, but he manages to keep himself away from it. And of course, with no WAMIs and no ADSs, this could be the play for Virtus.pro to clear him out. In comes the bounce, and it's an absolute beauty from Rask, but Gomfi manages to get the trade, and once again, Secret able to keep themselves level. They've done it so well so far. Every time there's a kill, there's an answer from Team Secret, and this time there's 2, as Gomfi gets another 4 versus 2 coming into the final stages of round 2.
Yeah, it's just about 50 seconds left. Kozheka is about to be challenging the white stairs here, but gets picked up by Sleben. And that leaves it only up to Pasha. Has the diffuser box in his hands. He needs to find 4 kills or potentially get the diffuser down to let it start ticking down from 45, but he's going to get swung on here. Kendra gets that final kill, and Secret, well, they win round number 2 as well.
It's a good start for Team Secret coming into this. I did comment how the 3 matches that we've seen on Oregon so far in EUL Stage 3 have been favoured towards the attackers. They've had a 60% win rate, but Team Secret certainly throwing that one out of the window, coming in strong on the defence, even without Wamai and Jaeger. Another big question mark on this for us, was how the defenders are going to cope inside a site with the availability of all that throwable utility and gadgetry that could rain in on them. And whilst we have seen a kill in round 2 there onto Packbull, it just doesn't seem to matter to Team Secret. They are playing a pretty, I think it's fair to say, broad defense. They're getting themselves around the map, and so that does take away a little bit of that power of that thrown utility. If you've only got 2.5 people inside a site, if you've got somebody maybe like Gonfi was playing there, in and out of trophy, armory corridor, they're not necessarily in a position where you can get towards it as an attacker and start raining nades in there. You're not Slevin on the roam. If you can find him with a nade, it doesn't matter that Jaeger and Wamai are banned. You'd find him with a nade anyway, because he's out on the roam, and generally speaking, he's not going to have that utility available. So I think Team Secret are working with that quite well. You know what? We can't make the site particularly safe, so we'll just play outside of it.
Something just popped into my mind, Tim. Remember how the patch came through? You remember what Capcan, to change that?
Yeah, multiple Capcans on one double.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's actually what they did down in security, because that's what the kill came through. Yeah, I'm wondering if that was 2 or maybe 3 Capcan traps on a single door. I doubt it, but it could have been a potential there. I'm not quite sure.
Certainly could have been.
But we'll keep an eye on it if they go downstairs again. Maybe they'll do the exact same thing, but on a different door. But for now, we'll just continue.
Medics has I think Medics has just said that it was, in fact, 1 on each side of the door.
It was 1 on each side. There you go. So you managed to clear out 1. You think it's safe, but then there's a second one that actually catches you off. So that could be
it's
quite
certainly got to be applying a lot of attention, particularly with those drones that are going in and checking doorways for you, checking for that utility. I'm sure until it gets ingrained, I think it's going to be one of those changes, Hap, that give it a month and it's not going to be catching anybody out at this level again. They're going to become well versed with it. But at this point in time, there's still that opportunity. It's fresh, it's new, and it may not just be ingrained in the brain just yet. Packbull going to take a little bit of damage from the nade once again. We keep asking questions about that throwable utility and the way that Team Secret are playing around it, managing to just dip around and avoid too much damage there. Puts out the smoke canister just to try and slow down this push from Virtus.pro. They've got themselves established in rear stage now. They're looking to push towards site. We're looking to get themselves in above as well. Kendra, he's going to play his life in here. I cannot see him dipping away from this fight. He's waiting for this wall to get opened up, and then he's going to pounce.
He's waiting for it to be opened up. Spots the first. Kendra gets it. Goes for the second one as well, but isn't quite able to put much damage down into Kersheka. Frostmat will be catching off Rask. Not quite sure where that is. A grenade. Oh, it's actually on the top. That's tier 3. He's going to be climbing up to try and at least get him back on his feet. There is still 2 adrenaline surges left, so Rask could be healed back up all the way to 60 HP if they want to put these adrenaline surges up to play for it, but they need to hurry as well. There's not much time left.
Just 1 minute left to go. They need to get themselves inside a site and established here, and we've got Packbull just continuing to waste more and more time with the Toxic Babe canisters. The Frost has done a great job there. Keenan just able to get that trap in a position which caught Virtus.pro off guard. Milon does find Sleben though, and here come Virtus.pro. They need to use that momentum and start pushing forward. Milon's going to hold his angle into Kitchen. He's hoping to catch himself a second while the rest look to push towards meeting. That is where any diffuser attempt is likely to go down. Milon just holding down this angle, but I'm not sure who he's going to catch. He does see the Mozzie, but he's not able to get in. But look at that, Hap using the LMG beautifully. Just continues firing. One of the longest pre-fires you're going to see all stage there as he just moves himself around and finds that kill. But Packbull manages to get one back onto Kajeka, and the time is becoming a factor now. However, so are the kills as it's now 1v3. Milon with a big double at the end. What a round from him. That's going to close it out for Virtus.pro, and they get a sorely needed round on the board. That was the 3rd choice site for Secret, and they had to lock that down.
Yeah, they had to lock it down indeed, just to make sure that you stay within the game. And I think Milan there actually, as soon as the Mozzie peeked around the corner, went prone. I think that was hurt because he instantly went for the pre-fire with the LMG. Of course, having that big magazine is really helpful there because you just cut the pie whilst pre-firing. There's nothing Gumphy could do there. Got his hat taken clean off before he could even try and respond with the P10 Roni because there's, not just as much ammo in there as in the LMG, logically speaking. Also a higher fire rate, so you can try and pre-fire back, but that leaves you without any bullets. Now, back to the bottom floor we do go. There is no Capkin on the board this time around. However, we do see the Clash to come out from the side of Kendrew. It's an operator that we, got a super shorty now. I doubt it would be used much, but here it is. It's the Clash super shorty.
Well, we're seeing it. As you say, it leaves Clash pretty much, I'm not going to say without a weapon option, but in most fights, the super shorty is going to lose out to anything that the attackers are bringing along. It's going to be a very specific situation where that super shorty is winning out a gunfight. If you've got somebody on a very tight angle, maybe, and you can take the fight on your terms, possibly. But generally speaking, when we see Clash flipping over to a weapon, it's because they're at a disadvantage and they're having to take those fights. Through choice, they will generally try to keep that shield in front of them. And I think that's going to be the game plan here for Kendra. It's going to be stay behind that shield, try and keep himself protected as much as possible, and just try to slow down a Virtus.pro that have been playing very, very quickly so far.
VP definitely trying to put up the pace. They need to be quicker than they were before, and Slevin already rotating out quickly. Packbull putting up some shots as well. Seems there is a little bit of confusion though, because it goes back in towards the attic. Not really wanting to rotate down. Might have to stay out there just to waste extra time. Because the more time you waste up on the top floor, the more time you waste whilst being hunted, is the less time that Kendrew will have to try and waste with the CCE shield. Normally we would see the Clash do a 360 if it would be the last operator left, with the SMG9, but I doubt that we'll see that happen now. So Kendrew needs to make sure he dies before the rest of his team does. And it's kind of counterintuitive, you would dare to say.
Yeah, absolutely. That I was just going to ask the question of where is Sleben, because he's proved himself to be a bit of a nightmare so far for Virtus.pro, getting himself an opener, getting himself a kill with the Capcan trap, and he has certainly caused problems. It goes to mention as well, it's obviously fair to say Karma is playing on the side of Virtus.pro, and that's something else for us to watch out for. A tough game so far, obviously having to come in and fit into the side, and in such an important game as well. Virtus.pro will know that their chances of getting to the major are limited. That's the reality here. We've got to call it as we see it. Ras comes in with an opener onto Sleben to kick them off. That's going to be a good start to the round. Gonfi shut down as well by Pasha. So Virtus.pro going strong here towards potentially leveling this up. 5 versus 3 and plenty of time to just back off, take the foot off the gas and just see what they can catch. And what they can catch is Packbull with another nade.
And now it starts to get very dangerous here. Kendrew playing with that super shorty. He needs to get close. Misses the first shot, and he gets taken down as a result. But it's going to be Milan that gets taken out. Keenan with a double with the Elda before he gets flanked, however, by Kersheka. There's the very final kill to come through. And there you saw, it's not the most effective gun. If you need to take the gunfights in that range, you need to be a little bit closer. But that's kind of ruining the whole point of that Clash, of course, being that walk-in mirror window we sometimes call her. And that is Virtus.pro drawing us up right now, 2-2. Secret, they're going to run it back though, back to Laundry and Supply. This time, no Clash yet. However, there's going to be the opportunity for the 6 pick. So we might see one of these operators change. Cade not locked in yet on Packbull. No, there we go. They're going to stick with these 5. No 6 picks coming through. That is bringing us towards a more gun-heavy lineup, you would say.
Yeah, as we would probably expect. I mean, to give everybody an idea, Hap, of the range on the super shorty, we've said there, Kendrew was reasonably close. He was halfway up the stairs. If you want to be assuring yourself of a kill with that super shorty, I'd say you need to be able to rest the tip of the gun on the enemy's nose. If you want to really guarantee it, that's the only way that you're going to be winning out against the rifle with that one.
And the only gun worse probably to try and get kills with is the ITA 12S.
Yeah,
I think you literally have to just stuff that inside of someone if you want to be able to, and then sometimes it doesn't even get the kill yet. So either way, yeah, exactly as I said, that's why I didn't think it would be seeing much play. Yes, great for shotgun, great for making rotations, but if you are certainly the last one left, you do not have a gun to rely on to try and clutch out the round with. Like, for example, a Smoke does have with the SMG-11. It's a great secondary gun, of course, with the main shotgun to be played as well. But VP not facing the clash this time. They know a player is right around the corner, though. Grenade will be coming in and forcing Kendra to fall back a bit more. Pasha already in, is going to be able to pick up the first kill inside of blue.
Great start once again from VP, able to come in and get an opener. They've really started to pick up that entry in the last couple of rounds and get themselves that early advantage. As we said, coming into this, the expectation was to use a lot of throwable utility as well, and we saw that inside of 20 seconds once again. Now Kendra steps round, able to use that SMG-11 that you were talking about to get himself a beautiful headshot onto Karma, level things up, and that's going to bring us to 4 versus 4. But Elbow is largely dealt with now. The shield has been moved out. Toxic Babe canisters keep raining out there, and those have all been expended now. So Kendra with no other option to slow them down other than to take the fights. That's exactly what he's going to try to do as he steps up onto the breach. But meanwhile, Pasha, he manages to find Packbull elsewhere inside a site, and the net is starting to tighten around Team Secret now, Hap.
Definitely so. More pieces of utility are being taken care of as Milan is heading back up towards the main stairs. Has an idea that maybe there's still a roamer around and needs to check the back. But of course, all three are in and around the side. Pasha still prone. They need to be entering from somewhere, and it seems to be the E-box and the default plant that will be coming through. A grenade landing right on top of Gomfi, and Kendra will be able to pick up the kill. The plant goes down, and Nitro will be tossed over, however, not getting the kill. And it's only up to Gomfi now. He's on 1 HP. He's not going to be able to pick up a kill at all. It's Pasha with the very final one, and that leaves us 3-2 up for VP, now 3 in a row, and they're leading.
Certainly getting some momentum behind them and using those grenades to maximum effect. I think we've seen grenade kills in the last 3 rounds, more of those utility sinks along, but we haven't really seen too much of it from Team Secret, and we're heading into the last round, so this is going to be the last opportunity to do it. They're heading this time up to dorms after 2 failed attempts down in the basement. They're going to head back up to the top floor for their final defense. They managed to win this back in round 2. It was actually their last successful defensive round, and then from there on, Oregon has turned more into what we expect given what we've seen so far through stage 3, and that's Virtus.pro doing very well on the attack. They've been playing aggressively, they've been getting themselves in there quickly, and they've been able to find those entry kills and then really ride that wave of momentum through to get them rounds on the board. They're going to look to continue that here, take 4-2 half, and then I think the confidence is going to be fairly high at Virtus.pro's side of things there for being able to get the result that they need on the board. And just to remind everybody what that result is, Virtus.pro need a full 3 points here. If they can do that, they put themselves onto 14 points. And that will give them an opportunity potentially to tie up at the end of the day with Kavana and with Vitality. So it puts them in the mix. I won't get into all the possible variations because there's a lot of them when we start looking at round difference and head-to-heads and all that sort of stuff. But the point is for Virtus.pro, it puts them into the mix. The first and only thing that they can do that is within their control is to win this game inside 12 rounds. And at 2-0 down, it was looking like it could be a tough day, but they've certainly turned that around so far.
That's it, right? It's not completely inside their hands, but at least this is. They need to get 7 rounds in the first 12. Anything after that is unfortunately not enough. So this is all they can do really, because after that it's out of their hands. They need to get every single result to go their way to make sure that they will be going to the major, and that would be time. You know, it's been a long time since we've seen VP out there. They're always just, you know, getting 5th, getting 6th, always just outside of the range of making it towards that major. And you know, I'll really be interested to see what they can bring, and it's a bit harder now, right? Kama playing because WTG. Yes, the Richards Kendra, beautiful shot, takes out Milan, and that just removes the finger from the beam. That was a Valkyrie cam that fed that information. Now they know about a second player as well as being pinged out. Kendra, well, he doesn't have an exact way to go through yet, but Gonfi is rotating up. That's a Nitro to go over the top. That gets the kill.
Well, there's a lesson to be learnt there, Hap. One that everybody can take into ranked, and that is make sure that you are aware of your surroundings. Look how valuable that one piece of utility, that single black eye camera, has just been for Team Secret. They've been able to rip this Virtus.pro attack absolutely wide open. all based on the information that was being fed out from that single piece of utility. Now then, they still haven't cleared it out, Hap. It might not even be the end of it. They know that Kozheka is heading up there to get that diffuser. He takes it out, he sees it, he's aware that he's probably going to be pushed because he's been seen on there. So that's well played from Kozheka.
Have the info now. Kozheka knew that they were spotted, and he's going to be trying to make his way over towards the highway. Of course, quite safe due to the positioning of two of these players as Rask picks up another kill. Gonfi gets taken care of. It's the first of VP, and it puts him sort of back into the mix right here as the Excaros keep on going off, and now they start spraying through, and Kozheka takes a bit of damage, but he's still left standing. He's still in the fight, and as Rask is trying to get a grenade in from below, he might be able to pick up a very important player right here. Lands right beside him, but doesn't do any damage.
Just doesn't manage to get the impact that he wants, and Sleben's going to have that late round impact. 20 seconds left to go. He manages to find Rask, and he puts Virtus.pro into a 2 versus 4 with Kozheka pushing that double window diffuser in hand. But look at every gun pointed in his direction, bar one. Kendra, who was watching Trophy, picked up Karma, and then it was all down to the 3 facing up to double window to close it out. Team Secret do that, and we have a split half, 3-3.
Still a good result, I would dare to say, for Virtus.pro, though, especially how those first 2 rounds started. Secret, after that, really not having too much to say, except for this very final round, which was, of course, you know, almost won by just that Valkyrie camera being in that position. That allowed him to pick up 2 kills and forced a lot of time to be wasted there by Kozheka, having to retrieve that diffuser, being on his toes constantly, as he felt like it was being pressured with every step he set down. Now VP heading towards the laundry supply themselves. It's Thunderbird to be coming out. An operator, of course, that has been available for pro play ever since this stage started, but we haven't seen too much of the operator yet. The Kona stations, or if someone, I forgot who said it, but the Salvation stations, I think it's Jackers.
It's Jackers, yeah.
It's Jackers, yeah. It's a bit of a
gaining a bit of notoriety now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's mentioned on a few streams. Anybody who doesn't know, he's one of the people that he plays a lot of ranked, does Union. He's also played inside of UKIN, and he's quite often in the stacks with a few of us. But he does come out with some classics. We've had, you know, that's how the drone rolls, and we've also now had the Salvation stations as well.
Really like that name. Either way. Those are going to be fulfilling a bit of a similar role than the Finca. Of course, Finca boosts everybody up by 20. However, those Salvation stations, they're basically a serve yourself buffet. You know, you just walk up to them, you grab one of those balls, you heal yourself back up to, you know, a certain amount of health and stay in the fight due to that. But looks like Secret might be going for a bit of a quick blue push here with 3 people right around the corner. That's a very early smoke canister, Kama. I'm not quite sure. There was no pressure yet, but that's the second one.
As you say, he's maybe gone a little bit soon there, but there could just be a bit of information getting fed into him to let him know that there is a potential rush on. But that being said, there's no Valkyrie on side, so there's not going to be many cams. There's no bulletproof cams. There's no real utility to be providing that intel as of yet. Whether there's just been a little bit of a gut feeling, or maybe drones rolling in through that double door and barricade has just given him the heads up that maybe there was a little pressure due to come. But as you say, 2 smoke canisters used very early in the round.
That's good stuff here for a Secret. Not really having to worry too much about that. Those 2 pieces of utility. Of course, there is still one left. And keep in mind, there is that Finca, which makes these smokes even more aggressive, even more effective as the Adrenaline Surge now gets activated. Anybody now inside the reach will be taking double the amount of damage, but Secret has to be careful. It seems like there is a bit of a sandwich to come in right here as Milan right around the corner. There's a bit of pressure from Pasha to come up as well. Kozheka also goes up for a peek, and while they're all being picked apart right here by the sides of VP, it's 3 kills to come through, and Secret have nothing yet.
Absolutely decimated by Virtus.pro, just stepping up and taking the fights there. 5 versus 1 now. 1 minute 20 left to go, so Packball certainly has time on his side, if nothing else. He's going to retrieve that diffuser, but he's going to have to start finding kills. And if you sat there wondering, what do you do in this sort of situation? It's 1v5. Where do you even start? Your first priority is getting any information that you can. He's got his team all on him at the minute, so I would assume there's not too many drones in and around the map. He's got one available left to himself. You want to know if you can get a cheap kill anywhere, basically. He's going to push in and try to find one. But the problem that he's got here, he does find a headshot, but he's moving into Crossfire's Hap. That was my next step, is to try and break these down into 1v1s. You've got to try and catch people on their own. As it stands, he's got one in Sharko, one on Pillars, and one on Elbow. He can't move in through this door without being challenged from multiple angles. As it is, he steps away because he knows it's not going to happen from there. There's the run out coming. The pressure is mounting. This is a real pressure cooker now for Packbull if he's trying to close this down. 20 seconds left to go. He needs to find kills. Virtus.pro, they're coming to find him, and it's going to be Karma to shut him down. That's going to be the final kill that they need. Virtus.pro taking the first defensive round, and it was a tough end for Packbull.
It's definitely a tough one there. Sometimes you see the members, take it as a bit of a tactical timeout. Nothing of that here. Just, trying to get some stylish kills right there. 360s with the pistols. Either way, it is going to be the next round to be on the board soon. It is again going towards that top floor. Virtus.pro, of course, won their first round, so continuing that rotation just like Secret did. Nothing strange in that. As a 0, gets 6 picked out to an Amaru. That's going to be an interesting one. We might see a bit of a hatch play to come through, or maybe even just repelling into the bedroom.
May well do. You love to. I always love to see the Amaru on the board. It's a fascinating and interesting operator. It's one of those that just gives those exciting moments, like you say. You don't know necessarily what you're going to see. We've seen it used before on the hatch that Milon is stood right next to at the minute. So you get underneath there and just zip up through that hatch and tries to stick a diffuser plant inside a kid's. There's other things that need to go with it, usually positioning on the kids' windows and the double window just to try and deal with anybody that's inside a kid's bedroom. Just get control of that small corner of the room there and get in there and get that diffuser down. But I always find it fascinating with the Amaru. One thing that I've said before, I'll say it again, and I've no doubt it won't be the last time before I'm done. I like to see that Amaru gadget used sometimes in the late round Hap. Everybody loves to use it in the first 10 seconds. It's, that shock and awe. Get in, zip through the window, see if you can get some kills. But we've seen it used only a couple of times, I think by P4 particularly, where you'll just zip in the last 20 seconds. The pressure is on site, and nobody is expecting the Amaru to burst through a window at that point. And it can just have such a massive impact in the late round.
Now, I think it's going to be a hatch play, because what you're currently seeing is Kendra droning all the way through towards the actual dining here. Got taken care of, however. Spots at Rask below as well, so might actually decide that, that's not going to be the best idea to go for, because that means I need to go through a gunfight first with Rask. The hatch is already opened up, so I don't quite have that same surprise factor, so he's going to have to go for a different approach. And this, for now, will be deciding to put up just a little bit of pressure, as Keenan actually receiving a bit of fire right there onto the attic.
Comfy's going to find the opener this time, taking down Pasha. So a better start from Team Secret last time around. In goes Kendrew, but Milon having absolutely none of it. He was ready for that. Karma also manages to find Packbull with the shotgun, playing the tight angle inside of the double window, but he might just find himself losing his life here. No, the nade goes too deep. Comfy throws it too long. It clears his man, and he manages to survive. The drone will find him, let him know that he's still in that position, but will they be able to clear him out? They've no nades left and are now trying to find an angle. It's all down to Keenan and Comfy to try and make something happen from this double window, but the big problem, Hap, Diffuser's down just inside of it.
The diffuser is down indeed. They need to recover that, and it's a 2-4 situation. We've seen this before on the other side, as Kama now does get taken care of. When a bit too aggressive, Keenan was able to swing him as the, Tachanka bursts are coming around from the Shamika there. Actually took care of the Surya laser gate himself, and now putting up a little bit of fire right in front of the window, stopping Keenan from jumping in as Rask is around the corner. Here's the jump in right here on the corner, on the white stairs, picks up that kill and leaves it all up to Keenan, who's now inside. He's being burned and he's being shot on the side as Milan picks up that very final kill.
I love that play from Rask there, just so patient at the bottom of white stairs. Was just waiting for that little sound cue of Comfy to hop in through the window, and then just steps around nice and easy and really puts it beyond Team Secret's reach at that point. So Comfy could have had some impact from the top of white stairs there, but for Rask, if he gets up there and can make a nuisance of himself, it maybe just carves that path for them to get that diffuser back and think about getting it down on the ground, but absolutely not as Rask. He was alert and ready for that danger. So we've got 19 kills coming in between Milan and Rask. A great game for them two so far. Virtus.pro, 2 successful defenses down in the basement and up on the top floor. It's going to be kitchen and dining for them. They're going to take that site as their tertiary choice rather than meeting, which was Secret's choice.
Now, as you can see, you see the glass, you see the Capitan to come through. This basically gives it away. It seems like it will be a smoke execute. Just a quick plant inside of it. Of course, whilst being covered by the glass, you can look through with the thermal vision. And then there's 2 options for it. You can either just open up from the meeting into the kitchen and plant right behind the boxes, or you go for the dining with some vertical control from above as well to make it even harder for them to push in, because in that case, the only real thing they can do is peek from outside the kitchen. Of course, there is going to be a mirror window to try and support that. Now, that might make it a little bit harder to try and get that plant out, because there is the opportunity to fly that C4 over or to just spray through. But it does seem that Secret does have these 2 options. And now the question will be, which one are they going for?
Sleben on the glass, interesting choice. Just going to see if he can use that thermal scope to potentially get the long angle. Could make it difficult to hold on to showers if he's able to use it. He's got the mirror window opposite him, so he needs to be very careful if he's looking to play from the single window, because obviously the mirror will be able to step out and just make that peak. But Sleben will have the tools at hand to potentially deal with that if he can beat him on the reflexes game and is able to make his shot, because it'll be absolutely bright yellow for him on his scope as the man steps out, so it'll be wildly obvious. Now then, Rask, he's going to just try and hold inside of dining on the sofas. As we can see, Sleben just trying to put that scope to use. He's actually going to play a different angle. He's looking in from the single door and just trying to get that view in through the rotation in towards sight. And again, all you need is a couple of yellow pixels and you can start taking your shots.
And that's it, Ryan. You got to remember as well, the scope becomes more powerful by the longer you are standing still or moving super slowly. So that is something that Sleben needs to work with as well. You basically become a bit of a turret too much if you do not pay attention to it. So you have to find the right balance in between. Is Kenry wasting the very first and the second serial laser gate just to make sure that they can play a firebolt right next to that mirror window? Now it's out of play. Pasha not able to use it, and that should be allowing them to move through just a little bit. But Rask picks up the very first kill. That's the glass removed. Sleben out of play, and Pasha still playing right next to that window, knowing that a bit of pressure could be coming onto him next.
You got to say, I don't think that Sleben was aware at all of Rask playing inside a small tower. They've gone in there and looked to deal with the mirror window to allow them to push in, but just not taking account of who else might be where. Now then, kills start to rain in. Kendrew manages to find himself 2, but will be downed, leaving us effectively 3 versus 2, almost certain to be picked up. But look at that, an absolute freebie for Gonfi as Pasha runs across, and it's now time for Virtus.pro to be completely unaware of the location of the attackers as they just completely miss the man playing inside a freezer. We've got Kendrew still down. He's actually going to be collected now, and so that kill from Gonfi could be more impactful than we realise, because that's just given them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, for sure. They were rotating down from below and from above all at the same time. And Kendra now, with the 2 hard breach gadgets, has the opportunity to open up right into the kitchen. This is the reason why we do see a lineup without an actual hard breach, of course, right now. Minus, of course, the Maverick. There's 14 seconds left. They need to go for a plant soon. Smoke canisters will be deployed by Kendra just to block it off ever so slightly. Now it's actually fire to come through, but Kama has an angle. Drops a diffuser as Keenan will be able to recover it. The fire actually managed to pick up the kill, and Keenan runs out of time to actually go for the plant, and it's VP that still managed to win it somehow. Is the verticality there really coming in clutch together with that fire?
Big round from Rask there, big round. Manages to shut down Sleben at the very beginning of the round with the entry frag, stopping him getting established on the glass inside a small tower, and then is the last man standing, 1v2, able to lock it down from above and just burn enough time, keeping hold of those verticals. We comment on them time and time again, how important they can be, because the challenge up is so difficult for the attackers to make, and Rash just proving there exactly why they are so powerful. Able to lock it down. Virtus.pro move themselves onto match point. They just need one more round up to keep themselves fighting in the battle for the major. The thing is, all Virtus.pro can do is win. They have to let fate take over for the rest. And you might be listening, you might be saying, Ace, you're talking rubbish here. There's no chance this all happens for Virtus.pro. But I will just remind you of a little game that happened back at the Mexico Major. Hap, you know exactly what I'm referring to.
I know what you're talking about.
And it looked so unlikely for Team 1. The stars had to align, but they did. And they got through on a rematch. I was 2:30 in the morning in the UK. You're going to have to cast another one, boys, because this one has gone to the rematch. And it's not likely to be the case here. I think it'll be decided on round difference more than likely. But the point is that it could easily get to that stage. You look at it and you think, Kavana only getting 1 point and Vitality losing. Surely not both of those things. But you never know.
So you never know if it's going to be possible. Secret right here is holding off for quite a bit, maybe to prevent from being spotted to go for a rush. Just about 10 seconds that we're gone. Kendrew now following up with the blitz. They're definitely looking to go quickly here, but Rask already shutting it down at the very start. That's Comfy gone. That's the Yana gone. Smoke canister will be used right in time, but they're already pushing through. Kama needs to be quick. Doesn't manage to get the shotgun blast out, and they're now in the middle of the site right here. But Pasha able to pick up the double kill. Huge. All the way from the freezer. It's another one to drop by Rask, and it's only up to Slabin now. The last man standing. He needs to clutch this out. If Secret wants to stay in this game, he gets the first, but does not get the second. VP shut down the rush. They shut down the train, and with that they did everything they could to potentially provide them a spot towards the Sweden Major.
Oh boy, you really got to feel for Karma at the end there, Hap. He was just absolutely fronted up by a blitz. Nothing he could do, but it didn't matter because Pasha had it absolutely locked down from the freezer. Great performance coming out of Virtus.pro overall. Look at Milon and Rask there. 25 kills between the two of them. They've gone absolutely wild, and Virtus.pro have got themselves the 3 points that they needed. It's all on everybody else now to decide